It's Beer O'Clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and welcome to another battle video. This one I'm really excited about because there's so much history between these three beers. For me, Germany and the Czech Republic have led the way in beer, and of course Belgium, for hundreds of years, literally hundreds and hundreds of years. Just for argument's sake, looking at these beers right now, you have a beer here from Pilsner Urquell, which literally changed the face of beer, changed the way we look at beer, we drink beer. It was the first ever Pilsner, the first ever Pilsner. It's Pilsner Urquell, brewed only in Plzeň, the Czech Republic, the original Pilsner, brewed the original way. I'm excited for this because I haven't drunk this beer in quite a number of years actually. 4.4% ABV. I like the fact that it's there on the front of the label. Brewed only in the Czech Republic, in Pilsner itself. None of that kind of British brewed lager here with that particular beer. Then we have Staropramen. Established in Prague. That's the kind of marketing there though, isn't it? But this one I believe is brewed in the... Actually, it doesn't say. Doesn't say. Perhaps it's brewed. Perhaps it's brewed in the UK. It would have to say, perhaps it's brewed in the Czech Republic. It would have to say if it was brewed in the UK. It would literally have to say. But anyway, this beer is 1869. This beer has a very varied history. We'll be able to talk about that in a moment too. And then the third beer, we did a lager battle recently. Have a look at it. We did Budweiser versus Budweiser. This is Budweiser Budvar Original Czech Lager, and this is brewed in the Czech Republic, most definitely. 5% ABV. So without further ado then, we have a slightly different glass with the Budvar beer because it has its own glass, as does probably the Pilsner Urquell and the Staropramen, but I just don't happen to have those glasses. So without further ado, let's get a bottle opener and let's get these beers out into a glass and see what we get. Super excited. Let's crack them, shall we? Get them open, this Staropramen. We recently reviewed the Staropramen Unfiltered, which I thought was a lovely beer. I really liked that. This one's 5% ABV. It was a very small brewery in Prague, and it was only that one of the big companies picked it up and turned it into a massive affair that it changed the fortunes of the brewery. Budvar. I was at this brewery just last year, 2022. I went to the amazing town of Budvis, where this brewery is based. Had the most wonderful time. Had the most wonderful time, but that won't cloud my judgment with the beer and which one's the best. What did we say? This one is 5% ABV, the Budvar. Pilsner Urquell, original Pilsner, but at 4.4% ABV. Quite interesting that. I think that's slightly low personally for a Pilsner. But who's to tell the original Pilsner Brewing Company that their Pilsner's too low in the ABV? Why would I do that? Perhaps it's where they think the ABV should be. Perhaps they've changed the ABV. Who knows? Let me know in the comments box. Perhaps if you go to the Czech Republic, you might find that this might be 5% ABV. Okay, so while we got the beer in the hand, let's show you each beer. This is a darker coloured, amber coloured beer, good carbonation, 3-finger white head. The Budvar, I'd forgotten on each one actually to do the 2-step Czech pour. Completely forgot to do it. There's a look at the Budvar. Knocked a lot of that carbonation out naturally. I always go for an aggressive pour anyway. And there's a look at the Staropramen. Good carbonation, 2-finger white head. They all look very similar. All look very similar in colour actually. So we're going to start off with the 4.4% ABV, I think. And that would only be fair, wouldn't it? So this is the Pilsner Urquell. Let's get the aroma. Smells decent enough. I think they're owned by Miller. SAB Miller. Might be even Asahi now. We'll have a look in a moment. But that smells okay. A little bit malty, a little bit biscuity. Spicy and peppery. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. That good without even thinking. I went in for a second taste. It was like bang, ooh, bang, another taste. That's lovely. The malts are coming through nicely. It's got a fantastic bitterness to it. If you're a fan of bitter pilsners, wow, this is a bitter pilsner. This has got some really they really added some hops to the boil kettle here and really got some nice bitterness through. It's a stinging nettle bitterness too, which is very nice. Very, very nice for 4.4% ABV. Should we move on to the Budweiser Budvar? Now I'm expecting this to be slightly sweeter. When I was at Budvar, they did explain to me that their beer is slightly sweeter than some of the other kind of Czech pilsners and beers out there. Yeah, definitely more of a malty beer, I would say. A lager beer. But equally as nice. Equally as nice. This is going to be a difficult rating when I finally get around to rating these. This is going to be difficult. Wow, the beer is so good. The beer is so good. This is so drinkable. It's so refreshing, the Budvar. It's just the malt, the quality of the malts they use in the beer. The quality of the hops. Now I know Budvar use Saaz hops. I was at the brewery, we're rubbing the Saaz hops together in the little hop garden they got at the brewery. And you can really get a sense of those Saaz hops. It's a really lovely balance between malty beer and then the hoppiness on the back end, that kind of Saaz hop bitterness. Very traditional for Germany and the Czech Republic to use Saaz hops. Lovely beer. Staro. I'm going to tell you a little secret. So my local where I drink has Staropramen on. They have it on keg. And of course, bang, I go for it every time. Other than that, there's like Carling, Foster's, or a couple of Brains beers, which I'm not overly kind of interested in. So Staropramen, they actually, in my local pub, They actually put the glasses in the freezer as well. So you get a frosted glass of Staropramen on a hot summer's day in the beer garden, and it's just lovely. So I've been drinking a lot of Staropramen lately. Beer looks good, nice aroma. Yeah, that's the beer. 5% ABV. Just a couple of blokes brewing in the Prague in the Czech Republic. It was a tiny little brewery, Staropramen. It really was a tiny little brewery for quite a long time. And it was, like I said, it was only that they were picked up by one of the mega breweries that they got turned into this kind of mega Prague brewery. Everybody knows of Staropramen now, but for a long time in the brewery's history, they were just a small little kind of microbrewery doing their own thing since 1869. It doesn't say if it's Miller anymore or Asahi on the back of the bottle. But it's good. It's very good. I'm quite worried here. I'm worried here because I'm going to really struggle to split these beers. I'm going to really struggle to find a favourite. I love the bitterness of the Pilsner Urquell. I love that bitterness that's coming through. I like the slight kind of sweetness coming from the Budvar, but it's not overly sweet. The Saaz hops are still kind of fighting back there. And the Staropramen is still a solid beer. A little bit more bitter than the Budvar. Not as bitter as the Pilsner Urquell. So I think this is just down to your own personal preference on this. If you like a really big, bold bitterness on your Pilsner, then probably the Pilsner Urquell is the way to go. Oh, actually, after trying the other two beers, going back to this, there's a little bit of caramel malt coming through now. A little bit more of a caramel flavour. It's quite interesting, I suppose. They're all really good beers. They really are. The Czech Republic, Germany, Belgium, they know how to brew beer. My goodness me, this is difficult. Really difficult, but I mean, we're 14 minutes into a beer review. We got to rate it now. Now or never, yeah? Pilsner Urquell. More sessionable than the other two, 4.4% ABV. I've been drinking, as I mentioned, this in my local beer garden. It catches up with you. You can have 3 or 4 pints, and then the next thing you know, you're like, whoa! Walking down the beer garden steps, you're holding onto the handrail type of thing, you know. So I suppose you could probably drink a little bit more of the Pilsner Urquell. Whether that's a strength, whether that's a weakness, that's entirely up to you. But I like it enough to give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for the Pilsner Urquell. If you want to see a quick video of the Pilsner Urquell, where I'm actually interviewing the owner of Pilsner Urquell in London about 10 years ago now, they brought a big vat of Pilsner Urquell in a barrel to London, and they invited me down to try it. Yeah, check that out. But yeah, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for the Pilsner Urquell. I love this stuff. Great memories of Budvar. Fantastic memories of Budvar. The beer's equally as good. It stands up easily against the Pilsner Urquell. I mean, 9 out of 10. I'm going to say 9 out of 10 for the Budvar. But this one's good too. Staropramen. It's got a lovely smoothness to it, a lovely slight richness to it. You don't get that kind of like toffee, syrupy kind of maltiness from the Staropramen, where that's what you get on the Pilsner Urquell. And I think that's why I give the Pilsner Urquell an 8 out of 10 actually. Slight kind of weird syrupiness to it after going back and tasting it after drinking the other 2 beers. But yeah, I'm going to give the Staropramen a 9 out of 10 too. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. They're all excellent beers. They're beers from the Czech Republic. It seems like they're all brewed in the Czech Republic. The only one that would slightly offer a little bit of shadiness when it comes to is it brewed in the UK is the Staropramen, because it simply doesn't say. It simply doesn't say. I know for a fact that the Budvar comes from the Czech Republic and the Pilsner Urquell says so on the front of the bottle. But the Staropramen doesn't. I'm not sure if some of it's brewed in the UK, some of it's brewed in the Czech Republic. You comment in the comments box, let me know. I hope you liked the video. We've got a split decision. I mean, the Budvar and the Staropramen for me are clear winners. Not clear, but a 9 out of 10 compared to an 8 out of 10 for the Pilsner Urquell. And it just shows you how tight things can be when we do these beer battles. But it's only my personal preference. You might have a completely different opinion on all of this. Thank you for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.